Hello third graders, welcome to our math class. Today in this lesson, we're going to learn how to do multiplication and division using array and number bond. So let's get started. So here I have an array, and I'm wondering the total number of circles in my array. So some of you might think, okay, I can just count the circles one by one and just find the total. But it will take a longer time to find the answer than using the multiplication and division. So now I'm going to teach you a tip, a strategy to find the total number of circles in my array. So let me count let me count the number of rows here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And how many circles are in each row? 4. So some of you can just go ahead and find the answer of 8 times 4. But some of you might also find this number a bit too big. So if it's too big, then here is my tip. Divide your array into 2 parts. So for me, I'm going to cut it like this. And I'm going to count my number of rows once again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And 1, 2, 3, 4. This belongs to the top part over here. And I'm going to do the same for the second part. 1, 2, 3 times 4. And now let's do the calculation. 5 times 4 is 20. 3 times 4 is 12. And I add these two numbers and my final is 32. And we also know 8 times 4 is 32 as well. So why did I split the work? Because some people find 8 a bit too high or too difficult to do a multiplication. And it is easier to do a multiplication with lower numbers. So that's why we're splitting this array to make us do the multiplication easier. So let's move on. So here we have a diagram, and this diagram is called number bond. And this is another diagram that helps us to do a multiplication using splitting and distributing strategy. So here the question is asking what 8 times 10 is. And this diagram, when we look at this number bond, it has 2 bubbles. And that means this 8 tens has been splitted into 2 bubbles. And if the first bubble has 5 tens, then the second bubble should have 3 tens. How do I know it's 3? It's because the total of these 2 bubbles should be the same as this top bubble. So 5 plus 3 is 8. So that's why I know that in the second bubble there are 3 tens. So 5 tens plus 3 tens is 8 tens. And I'm going to fill in the blank. 5 times 10, 3 times 10. 5 times 10 is 50. 3 times 10 is 30. And we just need to add these 2 numbers, which is 80. So 8 times 10 is 80. But before I move on, I'm going to tell you another trick. Whenever we're multiplying a number by 10, this is as simple as just taking down the number and put extra 0. So for example, if it's 9 times 10, I don't have to add 9 for 10 times. I just need to take my 9 down and put extra 0. So I hope you understand, and so I hope you memorize and remember that little trick. And let's move on to the second number bond. This number bond is asking me to find what 7 times 4 is. And I know 7 times 4 can be split into 5 fours and 2 fours. So once again, 7 is the sum of these 2 bubbles. So 5 fours plus 2 fours. 5 times 4 is 20. 2 times 4 is 8. When we add these, we got 28. So 7 times 4 is 28. So that's how we used to do multiplication using number bonds. Let's move on to the next question. Dylan used the break apart and distribute strategy to solve a multiplication problem. Look at his work. Write the multiplication problem Dylan solved and complete the number bond. So we don't know. So here we have the information for 2 bubbles, but we don't know the information for this top bubble. But we can actually find the number that goes inside the top bubble by using these 2 small bubbles. So 5 times 4, this is what is written in this first bubble. And I'm just going to copy this second equation. And we know that this top bubble is the sum of these 2 bubbles. So that means 6 times 4. Because we keep this operation the same. And when we're adding number, we just think about the number in front. So when I complete the question, it's going to be 6 times 4, which is 24. Let's move on. Melissa makes 10 pancakes. She tops each pancake with 4 blueberries. How many blueberries does Lydia use in all? Use the break apart and distribute strategy and draw a number bond to solve. So the break apart and distribute strategy, this is just as simple as number bond. So whenever a question asks you to use the break apart and distribute strategy, just think of a number bond. So Melissa, she makes 10 pancakes. On each pancake, she put 4 blueberries. And we're wondering how many blueberries will there be when she made 10 pancakes. So I'm going to use my number bond to solve the question. So there are 10 pancakes where each one has 4 blueberries on top. Now I'm going to split this. Once again, I keep the operation the same. So in each bubble, they should all have multiplied by 4. And it's now up to me to divide however way I want to divide 10. So I'm going to divide that. I'm going to split number 10 in half. So I'm going to put 5 and 5 in each one. So what is 5 times 4? It's 20. And we know the second bubble should have the same answer. Now I just need to add it. The answer is 40. Should we check? Yes. So whenever we're multiplying a number by 10, we keep the number and put 0 there. Did I get the same numbers? Yes. Yes. Let's move on. At Rika's school, there are 12 rows of bottled drinks in the vending machine. Each row has 10 bottles. How many bottles are in the vending machine? So some of you might start trying on grade like this. 3, because 5, 6, 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, because it says there are 12 rows. And each row, there are 10 bubbles. So you might want to draw just this complete array, but we also know that it's a little too tedious and takes a long time. So instead, I'm just going to use my multiplication sentence. So this is going to be 12 times 10. So we know the strategy, so we can actually get the answer fast. But for those of you who wants to do the actual multiplication, here is my trick. Divide this 12 into 2 parts. However, this time I'm going to actually divide this into 3 parts. And in my first bubble, so once again, I need to keep my operation the same. So I'm going to put times 10 in each circle. So in my first bubble, I'm going to put 3. Second bubble, 15. and 4. 5 and 4. So let's check. When I add 3, 5, 4, do I get 12? Yes. Now I just need to do my multiplication. 3 times 10 is 30. 5 times 10 is 50. 4 times 10 is 40. What's my answer? 120. So here on this slide, I just wanted to show you that there are many ways to draw a number bond, and you can actually have more than 2 bubbles. Let's move on. So now we're moving on to division. And this is very similar to what we've been doing so far. So the question is asking what 36 divided by 3 is. And once again, instead of just do the division as it is, this question has split the array into 2 parts. And one is 30 divided by 3. That means this whole thing, let me use different color, this whole thing is 30. And this thing is 6. And we're wondering how many 3 can go into each one. So 30 divided by 3, what is it? It's 10. What is 6 divided by 3? It's 2. So we just need to add 10 and 2, and my answer is 12. Let's do the next question together. So this question is asking what 25 divided by 5 is. And this, once again, has to split it into 2 parts. So what is 20 divided by 5? So how many 5 can go into 20? So we know that this whole thing is 20. And we're wondering how many 5 can go inside there. So I'm actually going to circle 5 circles at a time, and then I have 4 groups, so this is my number. And what is 5 divided by 5? There is only one group, so I'm going to put number 1 there. So now I'm going to add these 2 numbers. My final is 5. Okay, so we're going to do one last activity. This is also a question, a division question using array and splitting and distributing strategy. So Alex draws the array below to find the answer to 35 divided by 5. Explain Alex's strategy. So instead of finding the answer of this equation right away, Alex chose to split this array into 2 parts. So I'm going to write down the final one first. And then since he has 2 groups, I'm going to draw 2 groups. And once again, we need to keep the operation the same. So it's going to be something divided by 5, something divided by 5. But then let's find out what the something is. So when we look at the top one, we know that there are 20 circles. So what about on the bottom? We know there are, when we count all the circles, we have 15. Now let's find the answer. What is 20 divided by 5? It's 4. What is 15 divided by 5? It's 3. So when we add it, it's 7. So 35 divided by 5 should be 7 as well. So that's it for our math lesson today, 3rd graders. When you go on to Seesaw, there is an activity waiting for you. So I hope you try answering those questions using number bond and arrays. And please make sure to show me the work instead of just writing down the number, which is the answer. I want to see how you got that answer. So please make sure to show your work on Seesaw. And I hope you have fun solving those math questions, and I will see you later. Bye now.